This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, let's talk about what's really become a forgotten match in a pretty legendary feud. It's the Undertaker and Mankind. And here we're going to have Paul Bearer in a cage hung above the ring, which is like old school. I guess the first time I remember seeing this is with J.J. Dillon. But I think it was commonly referred to as a shark cage. When do you first remember seeing managers in cages above rings?
Gary Hart in Houston, Texas, when it was a rat cage, actually, is what we referred to it as. But it was, I remember, man.
Explain the rat cage. Help me understand the terminology here.
Well, it was a cage. It was a cage because Gary Hart was in it. We called it a rat cage.
Okay.
But it wasn't big enough that he could stand in it. So you'd put him in it and he would sit in it with his feet dangling through the bars.
Gary Hart, by the way, very tall human being.
Yes.
Yes.
And I just always remember, man, we would hoist it up and there was a pulley way up through the drop ceiling at the top of the Coliseum. So you don't even know what the hell this thing's rigged on. But if you look up at the ceiling, you see, like, you know, what are they called in the drop ceiling? What are those little squares called?
Ceiling tiles?
Okay, the ceiling tiles. They're missing all over the top of the building and shit. And this rope just disappears into the abyss up there, wrapped around something, and then the pulley is there, and you get about 5 or 6 big guys, and they pull Gary Hart up and hoist him up, and then when he gets up to the right position, just tie him off on the top ring post, and that's the science of it. But it was to keep managers out, and it was effective. But you know, once you've seen the finish that has been overused 9 million times of the manager dropping the gimmick down to whoever his guy is, and the babyface getting it and using it, and so the cage was effective. You know, you've kind of seen it.
Yeah.
The best use of the cage is we did it with Jerry Lawler, and Lawler was up in the cage, and Lawler had picked his nose to get it to bleed and got a scab. And then when Lawler got up and goes, no, I'm afraid of heights. Lawler picked the scab and his nose started to bleed. Because when certain people, when they get high and they get in the, you know, certain height, their nose will bleed. And it was just ingenious that Lawler did that. And then there was a time that we put Jeff Jarrett in a cage, and we pulled Jeff Jarrett up to the top of the roof and just left him up there for a couple of matches. And you could hear and we kept recording. And Jeff was screaming so loud that we had to finally take him down because his audio was screwing up the matches we were trying to tape. Bruce Prichard, I know you're involved. Get Bruce out. And he just, yeah. So we let him down.
The good old days.
The good old days.
I get it. It's a wrestling podcast, but he's saving us money on our mortgage. You really trust this process? The reviews don't lie. 5-star review after 5-star review. We make it fast, we make it easy, and it's no cost or obligation. Give us a shot to earn your business. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did, especially if you like keeping more of your own money. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket, so what are you waiting for? Hurry to SaveWithConrad.com. So listen, this feud with the Undertaker, man, I mean, the Undertaker and Mankind have done it all, right? So they had a boiler room brawl match at SummerSlam. They had a buried alive match. I mean, once we've beat each other all over and under the building, and then we literally buried a guy. Now we're just going to have a regular wrestling match, but it's almost like the rebirth of the Undertaker. So he's got a totally new look. He comes down, like he drops down from the ceiling, and he's got like bat wings and a new haircut and the teardrop tattoos. I guess he killed a guy or two. The match is good. Meltzer would even say it made great psychological sense, but he did say it was nowhere near the level that the previous matches had been. But he sums it up like this: after doing boiler room matches and buried alive matches where the Undertaker was all but killed, it's hard to put two guys in a regular match and get the people jazzed about it. I mean, that's probably a fair criticism, right? We're probably working backwards. Maybe we should have started with this and worked our way up to a buried alive. I mean, but I guess he's reborn. I don't know. Talk me through this.
He descended.
Yes.
From the heavens above.
He did.
Yeah, this was what I refer to as Pirate Taker.
Yes. He hated that, I bet.
Oh, he hated. Oh my God, he hated it. Yeah, between Wendy and Pirate Taker, and I yeah, Pirate Taker. He's like, "What do you think?" I'm like, arr. And he would get so mad. But yeah, again, it was, who does he? He's got to come back and get revenge, and you've got to, short of doing a decapitation match, you kind of almost have to start from the beginning all over again with Taker at this point. So I thought it worked. I don't think that Taker and Mick could have a bad match.
Yeah, no, these guys, I mean, even when it's not great, it's good. And as you would imagine, Mankind comes back using a foreign object, but Undertaker's going to hit the tombstone. That's it. Bear gets lowered into the ring. Of course, per the pre-match stipulation, if Undertaker wins, he gets 5 minutes alone with the man who betrayed him this past summer. And before Undertaker can do anything to him, the Executioner nails him from behind. So Taker comes back and runs Executioner off. Meltzer didn't really love that, called it a weak sequence. We know it's going to set up the Undertaker and the Executioner in December. And unfortunately, Terry Gordy is, his days are numbered here in the WWF. But let's talk about the look, because that's really what people remember most about this exchange and match. It's just the Pirate Taker, as you called him. Is this just creative services and Mr. Calloway being a good sport and saying, okay, I'll try it? Or do you remember him having some influence on the idea, and then in execution, he was just like, I was wrong. This sucked.
Undertaker had a lot of influence in it and worked with people and to try and come up with the different looks. So he had a lot of input on it.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.